Hey y'all, it's me again, the Neil Breen of Twitter furries. I am here with another commentary on my most recent film, for which thank y'all so much for watching that shit. Like holy fuck. The response has been very, very validating, and I'm glad that all of the little shit in the cartoon that is kind of rare for cartoons or whatever is really hitting. Honestly, this film, I started working on this sometime at the beginning of last year. I think like right around New Year's. What had happened was I had made a drawing of the characters from Dumpster Fire. Um, that was honestly just like I was sitting on my computer, just like baked, nothing unusual about that, staring into space. And I'm like, oh, like I kind of want to like draw something. And I was drawing some characters, and I realized that like I love drawing male couples. Like I really, it's one of my favorite things to do. I am pretty aromantic. I am not in any sort of full-time romantic relationship, but I do have like multiple partners, so to speak, that kind of are like it's complicated, but that's just kind of how my life has always been. It's just like I've just always had friends, um and some of them were people that I would occasionally get romantic with or kinky with or yada yada yada. That's been a constant in my life. I've never been great with monogamous relationships. I don't think the indulgences that lead people to monogamy exist in me. I'm kind of a weird aromantic lizard person, but like um I do like intimacy, and that I guess like that's kind of what shows my art. But I've been drawing a lot of couples, because like I want to draw gay shit, and the best way to show that your character is gay is to just have them being gay together. But it was always one on one stuff, and I'm like, you know, I never draw any just like piles of niggas, and piles of niggas is kind of more familiar to me than regular ass monogamous love. So, um, I made a drawing of Ian, Danny, and Rory. The first drawing of them just kind of like laying on a couch, and I kept thinking about the characters because like I love raccoons and skunks and possums because they are extremely interesting animals that just exist alongside humans. Um, and people are afraid of all three of these animals. They're all extremely cute, but people are generally afraid of them. People are afraid of skunks because because they skunk, and people are afraid of possums because they are generally considered to be diseased or rabid. Even though I'm pretty sure skunks can't, not skunks, possums cannot get rabies. I think they're immune to it, but they're still like that gag. Like it happens. Rabbit possums are a cartoon gag, therefore people believe that possums can get rabid, and raccoons, because raccoons are like if monkeys were cats, like they have claws. They will fucking fight you. A coon will fucking fight you, nigga. So you know what I'm saying? But yeah, these are kind of the only animals that I really saw, in my life, outside of dogs and cats that I've had. But even at a certain point, I am extremely allergic to dogs and cats. Like I will itch. It burns. It's not cool. So I don't keep pets anymore as an adult. It's only gotten worse the older I get. But my adaptation for that has been wandering around the neighborhood, just kind of like hoping to run into the various animals that exist alongside people. So me and my roommate, when we do our night walkies, that inspired night walkies, fucking, we oftentimes are in search of coyotes, raccoons, skunks, possums, things like that, and that led me to thinking about those animals particularly, and as per my usual. I am like, how could this metaphorically relate to niggas? So yeah, that's kind of where the thought process went. If I see anything that looks like something like an animal that has like a very specific connotation attached to it, I will usually figure out some sort of niggas in America related metaphor to fucking attach to them. I have a lot of fun doing that. That's why it keeps happening. Um, I don't care if I'm a broken record, eat my ass. But yeah, so let me see. Any other preliminary information? I think. Oh yeah, I kind of like posted on Twitter about this a little bit too, but maybe I'll go into a little more detail right quick before I start commenting on the film itself. So I was kind of like a dumb, chaotic Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, fuck it, playing ass like jackass kid who like watched Jackass and looked at a lot of. I grew up in a generation of people, like a generation that like fought a lot about what was okay to show kids doing, and I have realized the change in this because I work often on kids cartoons like as an animation worker. So like um you know doing boards, I fuck with the story and I choose what goes on screen. Ergo, I have to be very, very careful about what I put on screen when I go to work, and do boards at a studio. There are very specific things that you are not allowed to put on screen in kids content. Like, you cannot put broken glass. Like, you can't have a character like fall through broken glass. You cannot depict people being punched in the face. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but like Avatar: The Last Airbender is literally a whole ass show about niggas throwing hands. Not one person gets punched in the face in the entirety of Avatar. Maybe Korra as well. Korra is a little more PG. I think it literally is PG, but like Avatar was probably Y7, I think, and you definitely they you couldn't get a fucking like a nigga catching a face fade, in that shit. So like fucking um this is something I've run into a lot, but I was definitely like whatever you see on Beavis and Butthead, that was me when I was a fucking kid. I was raised by a single mom, mostly in and around Detroit, and like fucking she was working all the time. So I spent a lot of time alone as a kid and with friends who were similarly alone with busy parents, and we spent a lot of time wandering around the west side of Detroit and fucking Southfield, Michigan, which is right next to it, and like I had a lot of adventures that were not incredibly riveting, like not stuff that I would ever just be like, I should make a whole ass cartoon about that, but just like some shit that was some shit that sticks with you, like we did a lot of things. I got hurt a lot. I'm clumsy as fuck, but I also quite enjoyed doing dumb imitatable acts. So I run into people being like, don't have kids setting shit on fire, don't have kids fucking, like breaking through glass, or, not even kids, even like adult characters, at work cannot do anything that the studio feels like they might get sued for showing somebody, because a parent could easily be like, my kid did blank, and come after them. And even if the lawsuit is spurious and, they're a big corp, they'll probably beat it. Um, just that smoke alone, like that legal smoke, is enough to make them not want to fucking do that. So, um, it makes sense to me. It takes a little fun out of it, but I get it. I respect it. But it ain't gonna be what I do at home, because I was Beavis and Butthead when I was a fucking kid, and whatever other kid was there or my accomplice, I was Beavis, and there was always a Butthead or vice versa. And funnily enough, Ian the skunk in this cartoon is played by one of my extra Beavis slash Buttheads from my early 20s. No, I did not stop being a chaotic jackass who fucking pranked people and burned things and did stupid things in public for a laugh. I was once again not imagine the least cool, least least actually interesting version of this and think more a guy who is so disinterested in everything that is being expected of him that he cannot help but to do dumb things all the time. Um, I kind of feel like that energy ended up going into making cartoons. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like those things come from the same place. But like my buddy Shamari, who plays Ian the skunk in this cartoon, and like the Ian and Rory are somewhat inspired by my relationship with this cat. This dude's one of my best friends. It's been like fucking 13, 14, 15, how many goddamn years. And and like the cattiness. Like I love this nigga to death. You know, he's one of my like we are super close. But like he's the voice in Captain Dildo. Also, by the way, if you seen my cartoon Captain Dildo that I made back in my 20s, the person singing Captain Dildo, superhero, save the day. That's Shamari from during around that time or like right like around when I was trying to fucking grow up. So I was like, yeah, I this character I'm kind of like there's gonna be like some light kind of overtones with that. And he enough my nigga to where he wouldn't be creeped out by that. You know what I'm saying? You know, shit. Queers are cool with loving each other this way. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but like anything else? Yeah, I'll just bring up some stuff as I go. And also, too, the dude who plays the fucking man dog is also another one of these people who are a part of my chaotic jackass squad from my early 20s. So I try to include as many of them as possible. There's another player as well. He doesn't really voice act, so he didn't end up in it. But like I don't know if he has the tech for it. But yeah, this was very a lot of these characters' personalities are mix and matches of these three friends and the people who are around, like anybody who was in our friend group around that time. So yeah, um, I love y'all, and this is why I put it in here. Y'all already fucking know that. All right, so let's watch the fucking movie. Are you making waffles? My nanny growing up was a skunk, and she used to make the best waffles. Jemima was more my mom than my mom. Okay, so right off the bat, um, obviously a lot of the shit that I throw into my fucking cartoons is based on real life experiences, and this is an experience that I have experienced very, 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 very often. Now, my comics and my cartoons often depict gay men being sexually harassed by women, by straight women in situations, and I probably do it too fucking much because I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea about my opinion of women or anything like that. I am fucking 230% feminist, but this is a thing that I've encountered a lot. But the main reason I wanted to get it started was just something that would be like very immediately striking for another point, something I've seen equally often, which is that going into places where random white people are thinking about the fact that I'm black and I am not thinking about the fact that I'm black, and like they're seeing me, and they are very obviously being like, that's a black guy, and I'm not accusing them of like direct racism or nothing like that. It's just like I am often, like I grew up in an all black area. Fucking Detroit and Southfield are all at least they were all black in the fucking 90s. But like I went there and I had a pretty big culture shock when I was fucking 12 and I moved around Flint. Flint also has hella niggas as well, but like fucking there was this phenomenon of it being a very Rust Belty kind of place, the same way that fucking Detroit is, with a failed auto industry and all this shit. or sorry, a corporate raped and pillaged auto industry that died out, but Flint had white people mixed in with hood niggas like everywhere. And this was I've talked about this like when I talked about like the inspiration for Kill Wolfie and shit like that. You know, like my personal brushes with racism and kind of like getting used to being around white people. I know that might sound very weird if you're not black or if you haven't grown up in an all black area, you know, and then had like that culture shock at a certain point, but like it was something I had to learn how to do. I was I mean, being on the spectrum did not help. You know, like I was bad at talking to niggas too, but I was even worse at talking to white people because like they said things that I just did not fucking expect. They thought things of me that I had never seen anyone think of me before, you know. So I became aware that I was a minority. But in a lot of these fucking places, I would notice people who were probably not racist, like just noticing that there was a nigga in their midst, you know, and they were if you try not to think about the pink elephant, all you'll be able to think about is the pink elephant. So they would start conversations that were that were like 60% done in their fucking minds. Like I just know that like there were times where I talked to white people where they started me out 70% of the way through a thought about my blackness that I would not have seen. Uh, there was one that really sticks out to me is that there was a security guard at a job that I worked while out here in LA. It was a white dude in his like probably like in his 40s, kind of red letter media aged white dude, and fucking this motherfucker. I saw him every day, you know, when I came into the office or whatever, and he was friendly, but he had a black voice that he did only to me and other black dudes who worked at the fucking studio. And I knew this because sometimes I would walk past his booth. Sorry, not sometimes. I often walked past his booth during times where I was not directly interacting with him and saw him talking to non-black people, and he most certainly did not sound the way he sounded when he talked to me. And he often, I mean, like, I'm talking like jive, my nigga. Like, I'm not talking about like, oh, like I'm a dude who sounds, you know, pretty like I have a pretty default manner of speaking, and sometimes I might say like some nigga shit once in a while, you know. But like this dude one time like said something to the effect like he was talking about his his fucking auntie so and so who was like his mom's best friend or some shit like that, and like, you know, told me about how his mom just did so many fucking favors for her and stuff like that, you know, like she was in a rough spot, and his mom did a favor for auntie blah blah blah, and she wanted to show her gratitude, so she fucking, you know, she came in and she just cooked fried chicken that would just, and I quote, I don't remember too many specific details about which family members or what, but I do very remember that he said she would make fried chicken that would bless this white boy's fucking soul. And he didn't say it like I just said it. He said it like, and man, she made fried chicken that just used to bless this white boy's soul. Like he said it just like that. And then I became very uncomfortable around that guy because like he was the fucking security guard I gave my ID to. When do you think we ever started a fucking conversation about my blackness? He was not nasty or suspicious of me, so I had no fucking reason to bring up my blackness. He was just a friendly dude who was always very clearly thinking about my blackness before I fucking was, which I don't, because I don't know how to be anything else. And so that's where I got this conversation from. This has happened to me many fucking times. Honestly, in more aggressive ways. There was like one even just like in the last like few months or whatever. sorry, not one. There was like three in the last few months that were just like me being in places and people saying more aggressive kinds of things passively like this. But like that wasn't what I was trying to get off with this person. Just kind of more like, yeah, people when you're black, people notice that you're fucking black when you're not even when you have forgotten that you're black. Because we all forget that we're black until somebody brings it up or starts looking at us weird, and that's why you see a lot of stuff like this in black art or hear about it in our music. You know, it's fucking, it's a lot. But yeah, everybody wants to tell my fucking ass like you know, about a nigga they knew who was just like family to them. It happens to me probably once a month.
I mean, that sounds decent, I guess.
Thanks for shopping with us today. Have a good
You too, honey.
one. Whatever, vermin. Okay, so this one like this scene, this sequence of things that's about to come up is kind of based on um a living situation that I had in 2021. Sometime in 2021, I got extremely goddamn depressed in LA. Pandemic had started. Um like everything was weird, and a lot of my enjoyment of LA was in going out and doing stuff with people. And I don't do it often. I'm certainly no sort of party boy or barfly, but I do like to party and do stuff at times because I spend most of my time. I'm an introvert who spends most of his time inside, like kind of fucking kind of drawing, doing shit like this because I feel most compelled to do stuff like this. But the point of that being that, if I don't go outside, I will get stuck inside. I won't even want to. There are factors in my brain that will keep me here. But I ended up leaving LA for a minute because my roommate was going to take care of some family stuff, and we were just going to split off for half a year so that he could take care of that, and then I was gonna go back to Chicago, which is where I went to school at. And I fucking love it. I consider it my de facto hometown, even though I'm from Detroit. I have many more reasons to go back to Chicago than to go back to Detroit. So I went up there, and I was living in Roscoe Village, which is like kind of like a swanky part of Chicago proper. It is still the city, it's still like right outside of downtown, but it's a little bit swankier, and it was just the apartment that I found. It was near some of my friends who like still live there. Like, I was kind of going back to just kind of like shake up things so that didn't get stuck in LA or whatever mentally, in the place that I was at. And but this fucking area that I lived in, everything that happens to Ian from here until he gets inside is all stuff that happened while I was in Roscoe Village. Um, I will point out some of them. Um, the only one that's not is that nobody flashed a gun at me. I will say that. Although somebody did shoot a gun out of a car when I was fucking like near a fucking grocery store. There was somebody like it. I don't even think it was like it wasn't no gang shit. Like nobody got hurt. Like I think like a rich kid like in a fucking like in an expensive car like aimed a fucking like gun out the window and like fired a few bullets like into the air or like at nothing, and which was horrifying. People scattered, and but nobody flashed at me for just being a nigga walking around. However, there, I'll go through each of the things as it happens. But like this one is kind of just more like laid back, kind of exaggerated, like people rolling up windows or whatever. Like people do lock doors. I hear that all the time. But I also lock doors when anybody is near my car. So So constant staring, that's a fucking obvious one. I don't think that one needs really it doesn't need too much fucking explanation or whatever. But people just people just aren't very aware of your peripheral vision. You know what I'm saying? This happened twice. Two times when I was just kind of like in Roscoe Village, like kind of fucking kind of like just walking around, like, just decompressing or whatever. I lived alone, so I would go outside and walk to kind of like, clear my head. And fucking oh my god. Okay, one of these times I was coming back from like this cafe that I fucked with called Loba, and I'm walking back to my fucking apartment. There's a white woman standing on the corner, across the street from the block that I was walking down. Now I am holding two coffees and wearing a furry shirt. Like they probably had like a cute cartoon animal on it, and like I look like a fucking dork in real life. I am covered in fucking piercings and shit, but like, I don't think I look that threatening. But then again, I'm always looking at my fucking mandingo ass, so who fucking knows. But like I was walking down the street, I had two lattes in my fucking hand and a muffin, like a muffin in a bag, like in my mouth, like just in my teeth, just walking back to my fucking apartment. This white woman is standing on this fucking corner across the street from me, on the same block as my apartment. And as I approach across the street, this woman made eye contact with me for a second and then booked it down the fucking street. She ran down the block, not towards my apartment. Like my apartment was near a corner, but like she took off like kind of like in the other direction. And I was like, oh shit, like damn sis, your fucking your Uber here, like your fucking like your bus, you late for your bus or whatever. Like I didn't immediately, like I didn't think anything of it, because like it's not weird to see somebody in Chicago running. Like I've been a guy running in Chicago. There's lots of transit related reasons. So like I fucking I get to I'm starting to cross the street when this happens, and she makes eye contact with me from like not very far away, takes off running, and I get across the street like not thinking much of it, and then just like casually glance to the right just to like see where she went. And she was like not even that far away. There was no cars coming. She was not doing anything particular. She was just like sitting there on the fucking phone and staring back at me. Just looking, talking on the fucking phone. And it was pretty fucking funny. I laughed to myself because I was just like, this is so fucking goofy. But like she was like looking back like kind of like concerned. And I'm just like, man, I I just feel as though like the mental image of another human being walking around with like a muffin bag in their mouth and a latte in each hand, like did she think I was gonna try and rob her with like my double lattes and my goddamn muffin in my mouth? Like, what did she think I was gonna do? But it was just probably just like a visceral fucking reaction. I don't know. I don't know what circumstances would have led to that, or the circumstances that would have led to the second and entirely different woman who also did that at another fucking time. I was just walking around, like anytime I was just going to get like food or some shit, like I would just like go, like there was this chance that like some white woman would just see me and just run. And to be fair, this is like the first time I've ever noticed this. I've experienced a lot of like weird reactions to me in different places, but the only two times in my life that I've ever seen it had a white woman just randomly run from me. Um, like I'm not talking crossing the street or whatever. People cross the street when I'm coming. Like white people do that all the fucking time when I'm coming up the street. But like these two people ran. So that's why I included this. That mental image lives rent free in my mind. I thought it was pretty fucking funny. Um, that's why I added. I guess there weren't that many things. Or maybe they are a lot of things. I don't know. These things seem pretty normal to me. also, how y'all niggas like my fucking foreshadowing right here? You see what I did there? You see what I did there with the three heads, the three swords of Damocles. You see what I did there? This is how I feel every time I fucking come inside of somewhere. Fun fact: this part in the beginning of Cerberus, my new song, does not in fact it is not in fact just Tasmanian devil gibberish. There's a part at the end where I chanted "fight, fuck, wreck, rebel," and that Tasmanian devil sounding ass noise at the beginning was just me trying to fucking fill space in Ableton. So that's just fight, fuck, wreck, rebel backwards. Oh, okay. Now I'm proud of this one. So this logo shot right here, um, this uh, everybody knows about like the fucking whole Aunt Jemima thing, right? Like there was this whole thing where like there was several actually. It wasn't just Aunt Jemima. It was like hella other fucking like syrup brands or like fucking baked goods brands had an old world depiction of black servants, like as a fucking face of it, Uncle Ben's rice, like shit like that. And I always thought that was really interesting, especially when thinking about like all the times where I've had like you know white people kind of like the uncle and aunt thing is kind of like, as far as I know about an old world that I did not exist in, fucking like calling somebody like auntie or like fucking like uncle something was often a nice thing that I think white families did to keep from having it look as nasty as it was, like for race relations between us, right? So like you know there were slaves who were called uncle blah 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 in the fucking house, and fucking aunt, yada yada. That was kind of like the whole trope. So like that's why people got so mad about like Aunt Jemima shit, is because that was kind of the implication. Same with Uncle Ben's rice, and there was a fucking another one too. Like I don't even fucking like Pearl Milling or something. I'm sorry I don't remember syrup brands, but that's the point behind fucking Mammy Methuselah's original original syrup, is to just kind of like make a joke about how white capitalists were using black slave imagery for marketing their products well into the fucking 20th century. Um and also too the all of the products in this scene. I love fucking doing this. It's one of my favorite things to do in making cartoons. Is like there's hidden shit on each one of them. The milk is from a company called Comfy Plantation, which I don't think I have to explain. And then there's bronze tier bleached flour, which like is kind of a an online gamer joke. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I'm an online gamer. And you know, if you play like League of Legends or like fucking Overwatch or like what have you, fucking SF5, whatever you do, there's a lot of talk about medals and tiers. I'm a very cool person if y'all didn't fucking know. Um, very neurotypical. Fucking yeah, but these are parodies of real brands. But specifically, I wanted to point out the one I'm most proud of is this one. This is Josuke from JoJolion. Fucking part 8 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I don't like it and never finished it. But I am a JoJo fan. I just kind of only fuck with the first 5 parts. But I was sitting there. The way this joke happened was that I was trying to think of parody brands because I was like, oh, Comfy Plantation, because there's like a Comfy Farms or something like that that I just like made fun of, and like the flower brand Bronze Tier. But I was like, what's a funny product name I can put here? Like, what could I do as a goddamn joke on Clabber Girl baking powder? And I was thinking and thinking and thinking and fucking fucking like I could not think of anything. And then randomly a mental image of part 8 Josuke showed up in my fucking brain, and I and that followed by just being like, I don't know what else. Like, I just like I think just ADHD'd off to like look at images of part 8 Josuke for a second, and I was like, you know what, this nigga's just going on this fucking he's going on this shit. And I named it Blabber Man because I was high and it sounded funny. But honestly, to be real, kind of relevant to our good old buddy Araki. He likes to blabber in his content. Said a guy fucking sitting here making a video about his own video.
No eyes, no ears, no nose, no mouth, on some rebel shits. How we planning on going out, degenerate from the PlayStation generation. Face.
Okay, so this drawing is actually the design drawing I did for their living room. But I wanted to do something on top of it so that it didn't go to waste. I don't want to just be drawing off of it. And I was like, well, what do I have Ian doing in this wide shot of their living room? Like, I have no fucking there's not really much cooking that can be done in this shot, no hand washing. And I thought about it, I would like I wasn't wearing a shirt at the time. Honestly, I probably never would if society wouldn't strike me down for it. But I just had him throw his shirt angrily at the TV because I could not. I once again didn't have any other ideas. But true to life shit, true to me stuff at least. I come into my house in a little cream puff rage sometimes and throw my shirt off. To no actual coolness or changes. It's the same drawing. That one too. You get a lot. Hey, look, if you looking to be a fucking those last 3 shots were all the same drawing. Like I just did like a fucking like big fisheye drawing of their living room to design it, and I'm doing a lot of reusing in this because as a storyboard portfolio piece, when you're at a job, there is almost nothing that storyboard studios love more than you storyboarding economically. So if you're gonna be a board artist, or if you're a young cat thinking about trying to be a board artist, learn how to reuse shit and still make it visually interesting. Trust me on this. It will not make you a worse artist. You'll just get more shit done, and you'll have more time to draw the things you actually give a fuck about, which will make you better. That's the chair from the Matrix, by the way. Like, this seat that Morpheus fucking sits on in the fucking Matrix is that chair on the right. Yeah. Sit on that for a minute. Rory's writing a script too. In my head, I didn't really take the time to do this in the boards because it just would have been too much effort, and I think I got really burned out working on this maybe 10 minutes into it. So I did not make drawings of the posters, but in my head, Rory is a low budget horror film director, and I wanted to put some posters of his horror movies on all the walls. That's why there's all these things in the background, like these big movie poster size frames in the background. But if I ever do anything in color with this, which I kind of would love to, if I figured out fully colored something small, I would definitely make hella horror movies that Rory made in fucking Furry World. And also too, aside from me just really being into dudes with big ass afros. Fucking I also like gave him an afro because like when he's hanging upside down, if he ever falls on his head, having the afro protects him from getting, injured. So that was the whole reason behind Rory's afro, other than horny. Oh, also too, these things off to the side right here, like the decorations on the right, that is Chainsaw Man's chainsaw. Um, Doro Hedoro, Doro Hedoro's mask, came in from Doro Hedoro's mask, and you can't really see it that well, from the way I cropped the shot. I should have recropped this shit, but like this is the fucking proton beam emitter from the manga Blame. These are my three favorite mangas. They are the things on the fucking wall, and I just wanted y'all to fucking know that. Read all of them. Blame, Doro Hedoro, and Chainsaw Man are fucking god tier. And also too, their names, the characters' names. There's actually a lot of like triplets of my three favorite things in this. Their names, Ian, Rory, and Danny. They're actually named after MF Doom, Aesop Rock, and Milo, also known as Rat Ferreira now. Milo was easier to say, but yeah, that's where I got their names from. And these manga references on the side.
To the fucking mirror every day. That kind of bro got you selling yourself away. Validation got your common ass showing out. Social cameras all fell straight going south. You got deals and rain dance to some of the clouds. You got mad performers can't figure it out. Thought of being like me makes your ego cry.
So when I was talking about being a kid who enjoyed like burning shit and doing dumb chaotic jackass type stuff to whatever light level I was capable of, that's kind of what I was trying to insinuate in Rory when he's staring at fire. He really he's a little firebug, as am I. I don't know if y'all noticed, but there's a lot of fucking fire in my cartoons. Adolf's fucking fire tornado. Arcady from Hyenaville's fucking fire hand attack. Like, just saying. Okay, so funny story about this. I started storyboarding this in like roughs and thumbnails like a year ago. Maybe even like around a year ago. Before I like just left it on roughs. I've worked on this for like a month. Early in the year, just to distract myself from Kill Wolfie 2 for a minute. And like fucking while I was doing it, I was showing it to my friends, one of them including Shamari, who plays the character Ian, and for whom like Ian is somewhat inspired. And like fucking like there was a like Pam is in this fucking rough storyboard, but it's very, very rough. I did not design her at all, because of course I just designed the dudes who I was, who were supposed to be doing the gay shit, in the thing I was making. But Shamari was very, very partial to Pam, like in a hilariously horny partial sort of way. And he likes to make raunchy, kind of like raunchy, sexy kind of art. So he drew Pam, and like based on a very, very, like very, very rough visage of a poofy poodle, and that drawing is amazing. I really need to fucking post it, but like I just didn't design Pam. Like literally, Shamari drew this horny drawing, and then I just kind of like used that drawing as Pam's design, and I think he did a pretty good fucking job with it. To be honest, it made me like Pam more, because like I wasn't even, there was no, I was just like, I don't know, man, I just need like some sort of representation of like white passive aggression, I need it to be a dog that's barking at the vermin animals. There's a raccoon, a skunk, or a possum in the backyard. The dog starts barking. That was supposed to be the whole point. And I wanted to just like put that there. But like Shamari saw a whole different dimension of this character that I did not, a dimension of horn that I am not capable of, and my letter on the ligbits, but like fucking I became more partial to her and even gave her more screen time. Like in the original version of this that has been sitting on my hard drive for all year, last year, none of this where Pam is like getting ready and walking down the street and looking like a bad bitch, like fucking like none of that shit was there initially. It was because of this horny drawing and then my buddy Devlin sending me music that was just kind of like sassy, like, you know, sassy bad bitch music. And like I was like, you know, cuz I love shit like that. And like fucking this song in combination with looking at Shamari's horny ass drawing gave us the version of Pam that is a ninja and also, you know, is adept. Like before she was just like a Karen who just like a you know, frumpy Karen who comes and bothers them, but like I made her sexy and cool as a result of the friends who were involved in this cartoon and somewhat inspired it.
Perceive this change. You cannot feel these flames. Don't need these fucking games.
Like I grew really partial. I grew to love Pam more and more the more I worked on this. Also, the man dog. This is this idea is literally just like my friends who are not furries will oftentimes just be like, "Hey yo, you know, where are humans in furry world?" And I'm just like, well, obviously they're the pets, you know. And I in my head, this has been an idea I've been sitting on for a long time, but I have for a long time wanted to do something with like humans that have the taxonomy of fucking domesticated animals. So this guy is supposed to be bred to resemble a pug. Because really the shit that would lead to this is extremely goddamn fucked up and is eugenics when it's a human, but it's just called breeding when you're not, you know, like, or like when it's not a human who is the subject. So, I did that to, you know, kind of just be like, yeah, look how fucked up it is that people created pugs as a type of wolf or whatever animal that was made to be dependent on people, that was made to be able to fit into a purse so that rich ladies could project on them, you know. So that was the whole idea behind this, and to show how fucked up it is, because breeding animals this way is equally fucked up. It is not any better when it's not a human. It's still fucked up because a lot of them died, and a lot of them were not allowed to procreate because of rich people wanting to tame life itself. Fucking go figure. Y'all, I gotta be real with y'all. I fucking love waffles. I'm not that's not trying to be funny or quirky. Like it's just like everywhere I like, waffles are a true fucking treat for me. Like when I go to diners, you know, anywhere I go, or like a fucking hotel, bruh, them fucking hotels that have like the continental breakfast or whatever, they call that shit continental. The rest of it tastes like fucking like sand and gravel and shit. But like cheap ass motel breakfast room waffles are literally one of my favorite foods. They are so light and crispy and they just taste delicious. And waffles just, you know, I like pancakes too. I ain't no fucking pancake, you know, war. Like I'm not in war against pancakes. I eat bread covered in sugar and butter, nigga. You can bring me anytime, but like I'm just saying though, the niggas just really fucking like waffles. Anyway, for those sound effects, I kissed my fucking fingers, like kissed my hands, like a fucking ghoul living in the shadows. Also, I fucking love cooking in real life too. There's a lot of shit that's gonna have cooking in it recently because I'm realizing that if I want to do sakuga, it doesn't always have to be fucking fight scenes. So y'all gonna be seeing a lot of high effort cooking in this and in whatever my future content is. Fucking count on it, cause shit that I have half done on my hard drive, it all has a scene like this in it. Ow. What? You want to do this regularly? What changed your mind? I offered this idea back in the D on several occasions where we needed something like this, and you always seem offended.
I mean, look.
And when I put that, I like was trying to insinuate that like maybe everybody like is expecting skunks to do something interesting with their fucking skunk farts. You know, just saying. But like people also fear a skunk fart. But they also think a skunk fart is fascinating. It's kind of an interesting animal trait. Nothing relatable for that for niggas or nothing.
We married now. I trust you. Everything.
Yeah, man. You don't think it's a little late in the game for this type of shit?
Now look. You're not even at all the potential applications.
This conversation is also very, very similar to an actual conversation between me and this voice actor. we were oftentimes compounding each other's chaotic tendencies when we were young, and that was a lot of like the inspo behind this. Okay, yeah, he's a pretty solid.
Man, I know you seen them.
Like the pranks that we would engage in were sometimes extremely goddamn elaborate. So that's kind of like the thing about like the packet and shit like that. Is that like we planned stuff. They were high effort pranks. When I was younger with Shamari, who was playing this character, and also with like a lot of my friends who kind of like went into bits and pieces of these characters. Saying who?
Yes,
yeah, the neighbors.
The goddamn neighbors. They do a lot of damn looking. I seen those look before. I mean, you seen that shit too.
This is fucking ignorant, Ian. I can't do this.
You can. You want to?
What?
I know you. I know you want
Nigga,
to.
fuck you. Yo. This is the only thing that's completely inaccurate to me and this friend. Is that like if one of us got a chaotic idea that was definitely some shit we probably should not have been doing, there would have been instantaneous agreement. There would have not been an argument. There would have not been any questioning. There would have been no disagreement as to whether we were going too far. It would have like one person would have been like chaos ? And the other one of us would have been like yes.
There's been some situations around here already where I can see you thinking about it. But a month and the birds already turned your ass into chicken shit.
You fucking bitch.
First one's free, effective immediately.
You're supposed to be my rock.
You say those words, I cooperate completely at your discretion.
No. See, that phrasing, it's too self-deprecating. It needs work. I don't want them feeling comfortable associating us with dumpsters.
Why don't you get the dough, bitch? We'll workshop it.
You understand?
I hear you.
Fuck does he think he is coming at me?
I'm very proud of that gag. After like that conversation is definitely, it represents something pretty intense for Black people because our culture in general has kind of mostly just been a response to kind of being America's punching bag. / sacrificial capitalist lamb. So like fucking whenever our culture comes up with something and people notice it, right off the bat there's this kind of fear, there's this suspicion related to it. I don't know if y'all niggas know this, but like jazz once literally meant like semen, or like it meant like shit. Like it was kind of used like the word like shit or trash. Like it was a word that meant something derogatory before jazz music. I don't know if y'all noticed this, but I got jazz in my fucking name. Uh, I yeah, but like it's like them. This is mostly a lot of what this cartoon is about. Is about the contradiction between wanting to not scare white people, but also really wanting to be yourself, while also knowing that your culture by its very nature scares white people initially until they like see something that like they can understand directly, like art, you know. So jazz was once seen as the devil's music, because every motherfuckers were high when they were fucking making it. Like it was done. Jazz and blues were both done with a lot of um instruments and skills and like musical theory that was taken from church music, like religious music, and then repurposed into music that was more that was kind of rebellious or visceral or something like that. So that is them wanting to fart fire at rich people is like kind of a representation of like, yes, fucking like every black man is aware of NWA. We are well aware that a lot of our media and our art is about criminals, and a lot of people have taken it as a sign that like we as a culture, are are proponents of criminality, but it's actually kind of more that like we as a culture sometimes can only see criminality as the only way to actually find any sort of equality in an economic situation like what we have. And we take on, aesthetics that are like, these aesthetics are scary because we are the low class. They are not scary because black culture is any more raucous or celebratory of criminality than any other culture. I don't know if you fucking noticed, but white people love The Godfather. White people love Tarantino. They love Goodfellas. They love Taxi Driver. They love Clockwork Orange. Like, why are none of these things seen as signs that that white culture loves violence? And it's like, because the only people talking about it are not us. So that's like what a lot of this is. It's like they're Ian Ian is my like I'll go into this a little bit more later, but Ian is my id, the part of me that is kind of like a skittish, traumatized nigga, honestly. Like fucking like he is as chaotic as he is terrified of people, and this is why he comes up with ideas like farting fire, is because like that anxiety does not um it's not something you can make go away by just not doing anything. Like anybody who has ADHD, or has trauma in their past or something like that knows goddamn well that even though you are constantly trying to not scare people with your antics or with the your copes for that trauma, um not being yourself in some capacity is bad for you, and I think that a lot of people think that the key to dealing with racism effectively is to be the perfect harmless black man who nobody could ever be afraid of. Like there's kind of like this myth of like fucking like Bill Cosby ass black excellence or whatever. And we all saw what happened with that nigga. All that nigga did was go around and tell other fucking black creatives to be less black in their fucking content, because that's what he fucking did. And come to find out, the most of us who were just like, that's really weird, Bill. Why are you fucking doing that? Maybe our culture is not bad. Maybe like the things about us that are, like eccentric or roguish or rebellious are, like a part of how we have stayed alive. Not all of us are, like a thug or like, or like ghetto or whatever. I'm sure as fuck not, but like it is still like it's still important that we look at that and say culture and not say stereotypes. Um the farting fire is violent rap music. The farting fire is visceral, violent film and visceral, violent art. That is kind of, it's been very cathartic for me as a person who, I've never sold drugs, like I've been arrested, but like for little dumb shit, but I am not hard in the paint in a lot of the ways that like people might expect for a nigga from Detroit, but still though, I think it's important that that we as a people fart fire.
This shit. Nigga cooks me waffles. Trying to get in my fucking head.
Oh, hello.
Hi there. Hope I'm not interrupting anything. My name's Pam. I'm your neighbor down at 716.
Oh, hey, yeah, I'm city walking this little guy around.
Possum.
The dude playing this man dog is also one of my best friends who was a part of the chaotic shit as well. And has inspirations in the characters in the story as well. I bet you do. What do you, Pam?
I just wanted to come introduce myself and to compliment you on this amazing sculpture in your front lawn. I hope the landlord's okay with it.
My buddy Pam, who's fucking absolutely my buddy Ann, who's absolutely destroying it as Pam right now, was not a part of the chaos, but she is also an old homie as well.
Who are they, by the way?
Well, you're looking at one of them.
Oh, congratulations.
And congratulations to you. I'm Rory. Nice to meet you. And fucking right, my husband made that. It's a fucking genius. I gotta be real with you. Sometimes I be sitting here thinking to myself when I make all this fucking like weird furry shit or whatever, like I'm just like, this is my horrifying teeth statue. Dumpster fire is my horrifying teeth statue that I keep wondering if employers are gonna look at and be like, wow, this dude is a fucking weirdo. Maybe we shouldn't. But like if it's not this, I don't think I'd ever get anything done if it weren't this indulgent.
Yes, Hunty. Well, Rory, I will have you know our neighborhood is very progressive, and we are glad to have you. You know, that sculpture would look great in a more urban, cosmopolitan kind of setting.
Yeah, Pam, I agree. I'll let my husband know how much y'all love his sculpture. Sure as fuck won't be the last thing he sticks out there. Oh my god. He is welding one of Baphomet out back. I am so I don't know if y'all heard it, but like there's just like a tiny part where like Anne says, gasp. I love that. It's really cute. Glad we picked such a progressive neighborhood. It was really nice meeting you, Pam.
Yes, queen. That is just so free and powerful and ethnic. So refreshing to see something so real.
Okay, so like this is it. By the way, like I do play guitar, but this is not me. This is not me fucking playing guitar. When I started this, I only started playing guitar like fucking 3 or 4 months ago. So I felt a little shy about like putting my own in. But yeah, this is some fucking Metallica song. I think it was one of like just like a side one, not one of their like main known ones, but like yeah, this is somebody fucking doing that. Thank you to that person. I'm sorry I've forgotten who you are already. I just kind of like record things on stereo mix and then put them in, but I would gladly credit you for this if you speak up. Whoa, dude, it's like a mental cage, man. Whoa.
Sure, it's right for this house's architecture.
I trust my man's judgment. He's real fucking artsy. He knows what's up.
Yes, definitely, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, yes, yeah, as you should.
As I should. Pam, is there anything progressive? That's literally Crocodile Dundee's knife. I used Crocodile Dundee's knife as a reference. Aggressive and altruistic, we can help
Speak
you
of
with.
the handsome devil. Hi, I'm Pam, your neighbor from across the street. Pleasure to meet you.
Ian.
Well, Ian, your powerful ethnic sculpture out here has left the neighborhood breathless. It's been the toast of the homeowners association. You know, we just can't stop talking about it.
I didn't make that fucking thing. My husband did that. Yeah, that shit cool as hell.
I am so fucking oversensitive to this. If there are any parts of my autism left over that leave me in like utter fucking like obsessive fucking like having obsessive visceral reactions to anything in a conversation, it's fucking fake nice. I have such a fucking problem with that. Which is weird as shit because I was such a fucking liar when I was younger. Like oh my god, like before but I like only started telling the truth ever to people like when I like came out as gay. Like not that I like never told the truth, but it just wasn't like I was just like a person who just kind of treated socializing like a fucking quiz that had right answers. So I rarely ever said what I was actually thinking, and more just kind of repeated shit that I heard other people saying, hoping that motherfuckers would not know that I was repeating shit. But fucking one of the main things though with that like is a leftover from that is that like from a leftover of like my much worse socializing days is that like when people are just kind of like mindlessly polite and they don't fucking mean it or they want something else, it is loud to me. I have such a hard time dealing with it. I just OCD about it. It's horrible. I will leave a situation sometimes where people were perfectly polite to me and just be in like a panic at like all the things about that situation that did not add up to their politeness. Is it neurotic as fuck and absolutely irrational? Yes. No further comments.
Wait, so you made the sculpture?
Y'all talking about my sculpture?
Yeah.
Oh my god, thank you. I know, you probably already picked up on it, but it's about the radicalization of minorities at the hands of the busted educational system.
Okay.
Yo, there's some fucking dumpster waffles on the stove if you hungry. Shit.
Oh my god.
See, like, that was kind of what I was trying to put across is like Ian wants to call things dumpster related, like and I wanted that to be like a recurring thing with him is that he is not afraid of people seeing him as a dumpster animal. And I think there's real fucking value in that. That's I am so over the fucking like be a not scary black man fucking thing. Like it's impossible because I am like the softest nigga on earth, and yet still white women run from me on corners, and I am surrounded by cops walking down the streets, and people cross the street and scream when I am jogging if I jog past them. So no reason not to enjoy calling things dumpster things. He calls everything dumpster related, even though like Rory, who was kind of more super ego and trying to communicate and mediate the parts of them that are nigga shit and the parts of them that are trying to get along with the world or whatever, kind of questions if it's okay to call things dumpster related in the same way that like sometimes black people will kind of like will be like afraid to fucking like put our indulgences in things because of the connotations related to them, on behalf of like non-black people. So a lot of the point of this cartoon is just there's nothing wrong with nigga shit, like nigga shit is literally is just our culture. It's not a stereotype. There's no purpose in thinking about stereotypes for black people. Just let yourself be what you are. It's fine. There's no such thing as a bad nigga.
Are you trying to kill me? Bitch, of course I want dumpster waffles.
Nigga's supposed to be on a diet, but if this belly leaves, so do I.
No, fuck you. I have GERD, you little shit.
I actually have GERD in real life. If there's any one of these characters who resembles the character who probably resembles me the most here is Danny. Like on a surface level, he is the character who looks the most like me, and definitely like a lot of the theming related to how I feel about my own art. You know, I feel a lot of um anxiety. Like I can't help but make it and share it, but I also feel like I'm being too candid about myself sometimes, you know, and I kind of wanted to reflect that. So id, ego, and super ego. Danny is the ego. He wants to get along with the neighborhood and the world. He wants to he wonders if they should be there. He is scared of upsetting them and just wants to be friends. And there's a significant part of me that has attempted that is very familiar with that. Um, yeah, like in putting that in there. Also like I want to kind of go into this. If I ever do any future shit related to this, I really want to do this. But like I was kind of trying to show a little bit of like a gradient of like where blackness kind of like leads in America a little bit. I know this sounds so fucking goofy for this horny furry cartoon, but I swear to God, like literally the part where he's just like, yeah, my drawing made up of funky teeth and mouths and shit was about like political radicalization. This is how I feel with a lot of this shit. I think too much about this stuff as well. Like all these Looney Tunes ass, like Looney Tunes simple concepts, are very much loaded with a lot of my personal feelings and stuff like that. So yeah, that's but I think the one of them who resembles my personality the most is Rory, which is why I fucking like, you know, play his voice. But like the one who resembles my outward personality, the one who resembles my inward personality is definitely this fucking loud, soft motherfucker on the side who feels extremely guilty for everything he does.
I'll be careful. God.
You hungry, Kelly? Girl, you skinny as fuck.
Oh, thank you. It's Pam, actually. I've never had waffles from a dumpster. Do they do that in
Detroit, West Side.
What? No. It's not actually from a dumpster anymore. It's worse.
The funny part too, like this is the first time I think that I've ever like brought up Detroit like like brought up my hometown in a fucking thing I've made before, like a cartoon. Cause really and truthfully, actually this is kind of relevant too. So like I don't know if y'all noticed this, but the dude playing Danny is a white dude. And I did that. He's one of my best friends, Neil. He's also like he's a frequent art collaborator. He plays the villain in Kill Wolfie 2, the fucking security guard. But I picked I picked a white guy for Danny, even though he is also supposed to be black coded. I kind of like imagine him as being like mixed in my head. Like in my head he is, if I do further stuff with the lore, Danny is half raccoon, half bear. But when you're mixed, I'm not mixed, but I have a lot of mixed friends. But like fucking when you're mixed, people just kind of see like black, you know, like and I kind of want to do something with that. But I gave Danny a white dude voice actor because before my balls dropped and like when I was in high school, I was just constantly told that I sounded like a white dude. Like at all fucking times. Like not only I bring it up with the Detroit thing specifically because like when I got to around Flint and they saw what a fucking like soft ass cream puff I was, they were like, you're not from Detroit. Like nobody fucking believed me. Like when I said I was from Detroit. And that I have there's definitely like some weird residual feelings left behind in my adulthood related to that. Because like I think back then I was, I mean, first of all, in fucking like high school, like there's nobody has any like real idea of like what, you know, like they don't have any scope of sociology or like any idea like about what people who they're talking to are going through or anything like that. But like when I was in fucking high school, I was constantly accused of sounding white, and I did everything in my fucking power to try and like fucking use more ebonics and to sound blacker because I was not a very honest dude. I was just trying to fool people into thinking I was one of the humans when I was actually just a human who did not know that he was fucking autistic. But you know, yeah, like this was kind of a representation of that. I chose this on purpose. Um, I don't think I don't think this would piss anybody off who's mulatto, to see. I mean, certainly not my buddy Devlin who was involved with this cartoon, but like also Danny is also like there's a little bit of that friend in Danny as well. But like yeah. So this is if there's any experiences with that, I'm probably just gonna be like asking Devlin for feedback on like stuff I can do with Danny related to that. But I doubt he's offended that just like my our shared white ass friend Neil plays this character who is half black coded.
You looking to die for flavor today, Pam?
Listen, boys, the Homeowners Association and I have been talking, and even though we love your incredibly powerful and ethnic sculpture, we are admittedly not so happy with the way it clashes with the rest of the neighborhood's vibe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And
Thanks for your honesty, Pam. Why don't we go ahead and get to the fucking point already? I've never owned a house. This is totally about how working in the animation industry has made me feel, by the way. All this shit about like not fitting in with the vibe and everybody trying to be nice about it. But everybody wanting to be your friend because they are nice people and being interested because you're doing something kind of interesting, but also knowing goddamn well that you just do not fucking fit in. That is totally what this is about. I've never talked to a homeowners association. I've never owned a house. I've never put art on a lawn. This is totally about just feeling like a freak ass outsider to the animation industry, huh?
Yeah, this is a historic neighborhood, and we take pride in her shine and sparkle. But we promise we'll make it up to you on PGA Championship night.
Is this the fucking point?
You're invited. Natasha's charcuterie is legendary. It heckin' slay.
When me and my buddy Ann were recording for this shit, like I had her say the fucking line, and then like afterwards she goes, "But I love charcuterie though," and I was just like, "Me too." I am not against charcuterie. I just think it's funny the thought of somebody had like it's literally just shit chopped up on a plate. Like the fucking charcuterie can be fucking anything, and I thought the idea of somebody being good at it is a funny thought. But I bet somebody feels that way about drawing too. Oh, great! So we're done. See you at the party, Pam.
I am so sorry for the trouble, boys.
Water under the bridge, Pam. Have a good night.
When will you be removing the sculpture?
Once again, I say, Danny's reaction right here is closer to how I would actually react to this fucking situation. His personality is me apologizing and feeling sad is definitely like way more likely to fucking happen than what Rory and fucking Ian do after this.
fucking
What?
Well, since you never asked and we never agreed, not if your children's fucking lives depended on it.
Excuse me? There's no need to be rude.
Honey, there is always a good reason to be rude. Dumpster fire. Dumpster fire, dumpster fire, dumpster fire, dumpster fire, dumpster fire,
What?
dumpster fire.
dumpster fire.
What?
Dumpster fire!
That image was actually like this was one of the first things I ever drew of
What?
these characters was
Dumpster fire.
What?
Dumpster fire!
like this is actually I drew over like I think the second or third thing I ever drew of these characters was them about to light one of Ian's skunk farts on fire, and I think I got like the story from that. Like that was where I got I knew that it was supposed to be like millennial who will never own a house having millennial house fantasies, and that it was that there was gonna be like a polyamorous throuple, and that there was but like mainly that I wanted them to light a skunk fart on fire into a fucking inferno of cartoon fire. And I wrote the story around that. I'm like, that is how a lot of my stories come to place. Just like, I want to put something on screen. Here's a bunch of metaphors about blackness and autism and fucking goddamn queerness and all this shit with horny furries to fucking justify it.
Oh, sweet Jesus, I'm gonna fucking come.
Fuck you, you don't know me.
I fucking know you. Yeah, you know me.
Cultural Marxists!
I love that read.
Y'all have a super move? When the fuck did this?
Cultural Marxists!
There's parts. The business card, like these are kind of the parts. Like the farting fire part was like the part where I was like, okay, I'm done being coy about what this is about. Here is Pamela, the CEO of a fucking mayonnaise company, is who they've been talking.
Super move? When the fuck did this happen?
You were still asleep, but it was a few minutes before this Gorgon knocked on the door.
We have a super move, Danny.
Bruh.
I love you both. Thank you.
Dumpster fire?
Have fun making friends in this neighborhood now, snowflakes! Congressman Murphy lives here, I'll have you know. You'll be on his shit list.
Dumpster fire.
He's a congressman. Vermin!
You fucking mama house pet.
Also, if it's not extremely obvious, like the word vermin. I know these characters say nigga all the time because me and my friends say nigga all the time, but like, fucking vermin is supposed to be like the word nigger in this universe, basically. If that wasn't completely obvious. Another visual thing of like just like a racial dispute, where you have like the black coded object and the white coded objects all dirtied and fucking scattered around and stuff like that, with the head open and bleeding syrup. I know my fucking dumb furry horny shit is so deep. Thank you. Not all heroes wear capes.
Did she really knock on the door just to say she doesn't like my sculpture? Who was that?
Shit, it's a dumbass hoe looking to get stabbed.
Pam wouldn't know art if it jumped up and bit her on the end of her fucking dick. So I fought with myself over whether or not I wanted to keep this line in here because I knew I wanted Rory to say something, but I could not think of like everything I thought of that Rory could say in response to all of this shit that was going on. Because a lot of this is ad-libbed. I should also point out too, like, when you work, like whether I'm working on shit like this at home or at work, which my job is literally to do this, but for TV cartoons, fucking, like you do a lot of ad-libbing. There's a lot of times where I have ended up adding things to a cartoon that I worked on because like something needed to be said when I was storyboarding it. Like there had to be some filler, writing cannot account for anything. That's not that is in no way a failure of like a script itself or anything. It is more about the fact that like when you're working on a long project, being adaptable and willing to change things is the literal only fucking way to get it done. Um, I'm sure you've all noticed we've all tried to do big things before, and being overly litigious about the writing definitely does not help. Most of I would say most of what Dumpster Fire is right now is nothing like the fucking original script. So I say all that to say this is a reference to fucking Cyber City Oedo 808, which is one of my favorite anime OVAs. It's by Yoshiaki Kawajiri, the dude who made Ninja Scroll. And I highly, 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 highly recommend it. If you're one of those people who like dark, raunchy '80s vibes, and you like old anime visuals, which is hella detailed drawings, insanely beautiful animation, watch Cyber City Oedo 808. It is fucking awesome. Equally fucking awesome to the parts of it um that are aesthetically pleasing is the English dub, which is absolutely goddamn delightful. That English dub on Cyber City Oedo 808 is one of my favorite voice casts on anything ever. A lot of people say that it's a terrible dub. And I know why they say that, but I honestly could not disagree more because anime back then was so small and so niche that there was just hella randos. Everybody like there was hella randos like doing this stuff who like had never really been subjected to the standards of Hollywood voice acting or anything like that, and they are incredible. There was a line in Cyber City Oedo 808 that's to where one of the characters, Benton, who is like a absolute like the like top shelf anime MB, like painted fucking red nails and everything, just Griffith on red pills, like fucking like absolutely goated character, has a character from his past that he is going after, and fucking this character is a vampire basically in whatever their like 80s anime logic, and the other character, Sengoku, like the other main guy, says, "Hey, Benson, don't crap your pants if you run into a vampire out there." And Benton, who's like a Sasuke ass cool boy, fucking turns around and looks into the camera, and then the English dub says, "Get lost. You wouldn't recognize a goddamn vampire if one jumped up and bit you on the end of your fucking dick. So just get off my back." And then there's just like a fucking 80s synth sting, like BRAM! Doom 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 doom, and he just like fucking like pulls away in the fucking just peels out in a fucking 80s supercar. And that scene is amazing, and you can easily find it by YouTubing the second worst line in anime ever. I could not disagree more with that title. I am fully in favor of anime being dubbed this way. Why would you not put creativity into it? These are a bunch of crass ass criminals. This cartoon, this OVA series is just like about 3 criminals on death row who have like really dope 80s cyber hacking skills or ninja skills or fucking like shit, driving skills or some shit like that. And I believe that characters like that would say something like, "You wouldn't recognize a goddamn vampire if one jumped up and bit you on the end of your fucking dick." I fucking believe it. I will take no guff about anybody's opinions on that fucking I am fully in favor of it, unironically.
I don't really fuck with neighbors. I mean, half these niggas ain't real niggas, but can't be mad for.
I actually, before that line gets started too, this line that Ian's about to say, when I was first hitting up, when I first hit up Shamari and asked him to fucking play this character, he sent me like a voice demo, because I was like, send me your just send me like a little thing of you talking so that I could just like see like what I would need to like doctor up your mic, because I don't think he had like a preamp or nothing back then. This was like a while ago, but like there was I asked him to send me a mic test though, and he sent me 3 minutes of him just rambling from Ian's perspective about shit that we had many times heard randos on the subway fucking rambling about, just like talking about like pointless concepts like real nigga shit and stuff like that. And we often like me and the friends who appear in this cartoon like as VOs and our friend group oftentimes are reciting speeches by colorful characters that we have seen doing crazy and interesting things in Chicago subways and fucking like in out on the street at 3 a.m. and in places that were sometimes pretty scary. And he was kind of like riffing, like he was not talking about anything specific to the fucking cartoon. And then like this scene, the shot after this one, or the little sequence or whatever where he talks and then they just like respond to him, did not exist until fucking a week ago. Not even a week ago. It did not exist in this cartoon until maybe like 2 days before I fucking finished it. I extended the song that I made for it to fucking accommodate this rant because it is cobbled together from 5 different sentences in this mic test. This mic test had fuck all to do with this fucking cartoon other than it was just like a skunk, talking about nigga shit or whatever, and like ranting from the perspective of a vagrant and on the fucking L, and I just strung it together in Audacity and Audition into a sentence about the neighbors being real niggas and the other characters fucking reacting to it. This was not this scene is weird to me. It looks rough because I did it really last minute. Pam wouldn't know art if it jumped up and bit her on the end of her fucking dick.
I don't really fuck with neighbors. I mean, half these niggas ain't real niggas, but can't be mad for a person being they genuine selves. You know what I'm talking about? We all from the same struggle. You feel me? Real nigga shit.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that thing goddamn inspiring.
Also too, like,
we all from the same struggle. You feel me?
this shit right here is just kind of like, I like I said, y'all will probably often hear me talk about being like a soft black man, because I was constantly clowned for how soft I was at all times, and like I was still definitely rowdier than most people, but still kind of like a people pleasing crybaby a lot of times. So like fucking that is like a lot of what this is. Like when I see people who I feel like had experiences that I got lucky and I got lucky about and kind of missed, like needing to do certain things to fucking survive and shit like that. This is kind of how I feel, where I'm just like oh my god, I get that, like fucking like suburban soft boy, survivor's guilt, whatever that means for actually being a nigga from Detroit, I guess.
Real nigga shit,
Mm-hmm.
Man, that thing.
And so if there were any questions about the Baphomet thing or whatever, I'm not really trying to insinuate that like they like worship Baphomet or anything, but I did just given like what Baphomet represents, like, so Baphomet is kind of a character that has been something different depending on who you ask about them. A lot of people have wondered if the name Baphomet was like, Baphomet at first was like Europeans making up, if I feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on this, but like what I know of Baphomet that led me to put them in this cartoon is that when Europeans were, like off raping and pillaging in the fucking Middle East or whatever, they ran into a name of a god that many people uh speculate could have just been dumbasses who had never heard the name Muhammad before, like hearing people saying Muhammad and thinking they were saying Baphomet because they like didn't speak the language or had no idea what they were fucking hearing. I don't know if that's fucking true or not, but Baphomet is often associated with peoples that are being kind of repressed by European religion. European religion saw Baphomet as like a villain, you know, in many cases because of smaller religions that were not that weren't helping Europeans get rich. So fucking that is why I included this character, and most of all, this character's main thing about them is that they represent contradictions, man and animal, angel and demon, you know, fucking male and female, and I've always found that very very magnetic. I like demons, in case y'all haven't noticed in all of my rapping that is constantly about demons. Mostly because the idea of it is very uncomfortable to me as a person who was raised and abused by, you know, extreme religion. But like that is kind of like why I include that character. And why a lot of demon stuff shows up in my work is because like I find it fascinating that I think demons are aesthetically cool and represent humanity, you know, like, and when I say humanity, I mean like the things that we do that are animal shit, because we are fucking animals. The devil rarely fucking does anything evil in the Bible except kill some pigs. It's mostly God reacting to him. You know, I've read the Bible cover to cover, and I'm pretty sure the devil only kills a few people. Like, it only kills like a few pigs and not much else. But like these. I wanted to do something about I wanted to do something like image wise with like contradictions, because to basically be like, hey man, if you're a fucking black man living in America, you have to embrace the side of you that is the scary nigga that everybody is afraid that you are, as well as wanting to understand and get along with the majority. That was kind of the main thing. You know, like all these characters are equally. I didn't want them to, when I first came up with it, when I first came up with the idea, they were drug dealers. Like that was like actually like what it was supposed to be about initially, like was that they were drug dealers who just did that to get out of their bad situation, and they just ended up, you know, like with a lot of money and in a place where they could assimilate into society or whatever. So the Baphomet imagery came from like around then, because they are also nice people who don't really want to fight, but they are also traumatized niggas who might do something, you know, like that was like the main like contradiction. And to be like, hey man, you know, being a fucking minority and having people not understand you, you're never going to be able to get rid of your quote unquote stereotypes. You're never going to be able to get rid of your the sides of you that are jarring to people. You just have to kind of accept that, you know, and each one of them, you know, like Ian is as chaotic as he is terrified of people. You know, Rory is as nice as he is fucking sadistic, and you know, like Danny is bright and cheery as he is guilty and apologetic, and that is that's kind of like that's what all the Baphomet shit is about, is because like the cartoon is about accepting contradictions when dealing with the self. They don't like worship Baphomet or nothing. I only say that much because I'm just not. It's not the thought of them worshiping a demon that makes me uncomfortable. It's the thought of them worshiping anything at all. I'm just not a pro-worship person.
Is it really okay for us to be here?
Okay, so um M Bison from Street Fighter is one of my favorite villains. I fucking love M Bison. I think he's extremely goddamn fun, mostly because of the fucking Street Fighter 2 movie. He's so catty. M Bison in the Street Fighter 2 movie acts like he acts like a catty gay man, like in that fucking movie. He's very clearly horny for Chun-Li and all of the female characters in that movie, which is also hilarious that they felt the need to include that detail. Watch the Street Fighter 2 movie. It's one of the greatest animated films to ever be created. Fucking fight me, nigga. Catch me somewhere. Like that movie is amazing. Not just because I love Street Fighter, but y'all, I any opportunity I can do to draw M Bison's face, and for this one, there's a lot of M Bison faces in my sketchbook when I was younger, and this Lynx has M Bison's face. I just tried to make him look like a like a fucking animal, but like those M Bison drawings from like the fucking Street Fighter 2 movie where they just show so much of his gums. It's just so fucking funny to me. And that is this character. You're probably gonna be seeing M Bisons on a lot of characters. Now that I'm like figuring out ways to make movies faster and get more of my stories out there.
God, I fucking hope not.
Yeah. So that's Dumpster Fire. Rory wants that fucking smoke. He wants to burn things. I kind of want that smoke, but not enough to do anything really. It really interesting though, just enough to enjoy a good. I enjoy a good passive aggressive situation. I'm not even gonna fucking lie. I would rather deal with passive aggression and engage in passive aggression than to deal with fake niceness and fake niceties. Like honestly, when a situation stops being about fake niceties and starts being about passive aggression, I am way more comfortable than with like false hollow politeness. So that's kind of what that was about, where he's like, God, I hope we're not God, I hope it's not okay for us to be here. More opportunities to fucking fart fire at people. Because I do kind of feel that way a little bit. I'm not dangerous. Please keep hiring me. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, that's Dumpster Fire. I'm very proud of how it came out. I got really burnt out while I was working on it. But nonetheless, it was just because of the volume of it. I worked on it for a month at the beginning. I think it took me maybe like around 3 months total. I started it casually while I was working on Kill Wolfie 2 last year, earlier in the year when I was first starting like the taking the year off to fucking make that project. But what I found was that like, I was working on Kill Wolfie 10 hours a day, and then like I still had leisure time, and because I'm a human being and human beings have more than one fucking idea, this and punk ass and like a lot of things kind of showed up around that time as very, very rough thumbnail storyboards, which is like kind of how I get my ideas out. Like the drawing in the bottom left is like what Dumpster Fire looked like for like a year. Like the whole last cartoon looked like that. And y'all probably know because I've actually like dropped some clips of this and like punk ass and shit in these thumbnail forms. But that's how this got started. And I'm not sure entirely exactly when I'm going to get back to Kill Wolfie 2. I fully intend to finish it. But like, I also just really have other stories that I just want to make shit about. And I feel like if I get a few of them out of my fucking system, I can go back to Kill Wolfie and really feel not constrained. The reason I stopped working on it was because like I was burnt out, I felt exhausted, and I felt constrained. The amount of work, I wasn't sure about the amount of work, and now, I need to like find a job again. So like I needed to make portfolio pieces, but this has been a good excuse for me to do stuff like this. Actually, yeah, I think that's worth talking about before I fucking turn it off. Is that so? If anybody's curious about the animatic thing and wondering where the fuck Kill Wolfie 2 is, that is what happened. I worked on it all year last year, compulsively. Y'all see how much shit I fucking post. Like there was no part of me that was slacking on Kill Wolfie 2. I was literally doing this. This was me slacking off from Kill Wolfie 2 after working on Kill Wolfie 2. I would just close uh close fucking goddamn Flash and just open up Storyboard Pro and just doodle ideas, in my room and make, write them, fucking do the voices and stuff like that. And so right now, I didn't want to be out of work for much longer than a year. But that year has passed up now, and winter is kind of a dry season for animation work, and nigga, it is fucking dry this year. So I Kill Wolfie 2 is on ice. It's gonna fucking happen, but you're gonna be seeing more stuff like this, mainly because it serves the purpose. Like every time I've actually like gotten hired on jobs was from shit like this, because there's people who work in storyboards who are really really good at like slotting in to a gig and doing the main bread and butter of that gig. I respect it immensely. I'm jealous and I'm trying to learn it, but like the truth of the matter is that I have creative sensibilities that are not necessarily the same as studios, and oftentimes the only way I can get these niggas to even fucking look at me is if I am doing something with storyboards the way that I would do it at a studio, but just with something, that is from my own head. And for me, I feel okay. It doesn't feel like a chore, or something that bogs me down or like, or anything like that, because like I, like most people, just have hella random ideas about things. So it's like if I can just make a storyboard. I have never made a film that is 14 minutes before. This has never happened. I've made I've been making internet cartoons for 20 years now. I've been on Newgrounds. I got on Newgrounds when I was like fucking 11, and started posting when I was like fucking 14. And I'm 32, so I've been doing this for almost, oh shit, over a trash can. I've been doing shit like this, like original indie cartoons, for 2/3 of my life, because I was doing it even before I started uploading to Newgrounds, and like, it keeps me sane to make movies about shit that I want to make movies about. I don't really have industry ambitions, to be real, only to just pay my bills. I have not been seeking to get a TV show or anything like that. Would not fucking kick it out of bed, because I'm gonna have to work for a living anyway, capitalist hellscape. But like, it's I'm gonna be doing this for the foreseeable future because they are fun for me to make. They're so quick that I can make like fuck tons of content, and honestly, like, like getting to sit here and just do a thing with simple visuals that will help my career, help me fucking find work when I'm, in kind of a dry season, and also gives me an excuse to like do a fun art activity with my friends. And like this one, like I made the whole soundtrack from scratch, which is something I've never fucking done before. Like I did the soundtrack from Nightwalkies, but like fucking like the songs that are in it, like Mellow Demon, the only songs that are in it are Mellow Demon, King of Worms, and Musty Miami, and all of those I already just had done. They were just songs that were just finished, so I put them in there. But like for this one, I like had Storyboard Pro open, in on one monitor, and I had Ableton open on the other monitor, and my guitar and my MIDI fighter like right next to me, like while I was doing the stuff, and I was thinking about the music while I was drawing the storyboards and what types of stings and stuff, like what the shit would feel like, when they were snuggling in the statue's lap and shit like that. But yeah, thanks for watching, y'all. Like, I appreciate all the nice comments. Y'all are cool as fuck. And I'm gonna try and get y'all some more shit to watch because I enjoy making it, and it helps me deal with the fucking anxiety of this fucking dry ass storyboard season. Goodbye.